how's it going, everyone? Thanks for attending. As you guys can tell, this panel is going to be about NFTs, and then by my headshot, you can tell that I'm very bullish on NFTs. So I'm looking forward to learning each and everything about what you guys do. So we've seen a lot of businesses and Web2 businesses just kind of enter the space in the recent year. And there's a lot of utilities that these businesses want out of blockchain technology. So just to like set the stage, pun intended, I want to get all of you guys' view on the current ticketing industry and why you think blockchain technology can solve some current solutions. Maybe we can start with you, Riad.
Sure. I should say from the start, like I come in, like I live in the sewers relative to everyone else here, not in the gross sense, but just we build the plumbing. We're underneath, and so from our perspective, like we build key management infrastructure. So what we think about is how do we make applications like NFT-based ticketing usable by the average consumer. I think one of the things that everyone here kind of knows, at least sort of in the guilty back part of the mind, is like all of us are like diehard bleeding edge kind of people, and we've all gone through the pain of learning all this stuff, but the next 100 million people don't want to, and frankly shouldn't have to. So I think one of the really amazing things about applications like NFT-based ticketing is this is a place where there's real utility today, and where people don't have to know that they're interacting with a blockchain. They're getting something out of it without sort of paying the blockchain tax, the sort of, God, the UX sucks. Because in fact, I think what we're gonna see is the UX is awesome. So this is why I'm super bullish on it, because it's, in some sense, this is one of the grand inception points for the whole industry, is getting people in based on applications rather than based on a casino.
Yeah, I think for you guys, David and Emil, you guys work more on like the UI, UX interfaces that people will see when they first interact, and I think first impressions matter a lot. So, David, you work with Sports Illustrated, so I want to get your perspective on why you think such like a big Sports Illustrated like company utilizes blockchain technology.
I think that the global live event market is a $160 billion TAM. And we have all been to many events over the years. There's no distinction whether you are buying a ticket in Asia or Europe or North America. The experience for all of us is very consistent, intentionally so. You cannot try to onboard or educate or stake or put a wallet in front of a 65-year-old that's looking to go to a Broadway show. It has got to look and feel like every other ticketing experience that they have had. So our view as Sports Illustrated, when we entered this market on a global scale, the secondary ticketing market, just to give everybody a little bit of background on how we all exist, the secondary ticket market is Ticketmaster, StubHub, Vivid, Viagogo, all the major players that you see around the world. There are tens of millions of tickets available at any one given time. We entered the market as a secondary market. That means that we've got tickets for every show and every event, from the Olympics to a local Broadway show, that are resellers. These are people that have bought a ticket and have tickets up for sale. That is StubHub and Viagogo's model. That creates competitiveness. You can create an ecosystem that is very competitive and similar. Sports Illustrated views this as the opportunity. Unless anybody in this room has an I love Ticketmaster bumper sticker on the back of their car, loyalty is challenging. And I think as consumers and fans, we are disenchanted with ticket marketplaces. So we view this as an opportunity. Trust and credibility of SI, 2 billion of inventory around the world, no transaction fees, transparent pricing. Even if we were the same price, we think we can earn your business. We think you're looking for someone other than these transactional ticket marketplaces to buy. That's the secondary market. This is a reseller market. The primary, which is where we exist, this is the ecosystem. When you buy a ticket, and you can buy it from anybody that you want to, you're most likely getting an email, if you are stateside as an example, from Ticketmaster. It is their software, it is their barcode, it is their ecosystem that powers this venue to get you into these seats. You buy from anybody, you've got to come through the primary. So our primary ticketing ecosystem that we stood up, full event management, list for sale, buy a ticket, transfer it, similar experience that you'll always have. It's on chain. We strategically believe that an on-chain capability for primary is far superior than legacy. And this room knows all of the benefits of why NFT ticketing has sort of been pushed to the side. It hasn't seen a mass adoption use case. We think we can help. We're not going to change the global marketplace, but we think as Sports Illustrated, every single ticket we deliver on our primary is an NFT. Every single venue and customer that partners with us, they are on-chain. We can lean in and help with our brand to help create awareness and capability. Front-end Web 2, no different than the experience, but the fact that you are stood up with a Cubist wallet to walk in the door and that ticket is an actual NFT, the moment that you do realize transferability, security, royalty, content, videos, pictures, highlights, loyalty, rewards, the ticket can become something that helps the fan experience. And so our view of the future capabilities of being an on-chain ticketing platform is this is where we will all eventually migrate to. We are years away from that happening. I just want to be clear. Consistency across the global marketplace. We are years from Ticketmaster and SeatGeek and all the other global primaries moving to an on-chain ecosystem. So it is venue by venue. It is event by event. That's how, and for Emil as well, that's how we are coming to market to try to create some mass adoption opportunities and create examples that the rest of the world can see. That is a better experience for everybody that walked in the door.
Yeah, I think Sports Illustrated being such a large company, you guys migrating to using blockchain technology. So I like hearing from your perspective, but Emil, you guys are native Web3, am I correct? And how do you go about that?
I mean, we don't really consider ourselves a Web3, Web2 company. We consider ourselves a ticketing company. What we are doing at tixbase is we are building a new industry standard for ticketing industry. And what that means is we go in the room, we sit down with the client and listen to their issues and their problems instead of just opening a Pandora box and this is what we can do and this is what we can do. We concentrate on the four things. That one is ticket scalping, two is security, three is ticket fraud, and regulated secondary market. Now, what that means, scalping and regulated secondary market, they kind of go in parallel, hand to hand. But in order to really fix the ticketing industry, you have to go back to the core, and you have to look at the entire industry from the very ground zero. Blockchain does play an important part in all this. Smart contracts play an important part. NFTs, just want to make sure that everyone understands, NFTs is a technology. It's not the product. So let's just get that out of the way. Now, you take all these three components and then you ask yourself, so how do you deliver a more secure infrastructure? Well, number one problem that we have with the ticketing industry is lack of identity on the ticket. Anyone can just go ahead and buy a whole bunch of tickets and then immediately put them on the secondary market, and you don't even know who the person is selling the ticket, let alone who the person is buying the ticket. So at tixbase, what we are doing is we are bonding an identity to each ticket. So right from the beginning, when you come to the platform, you will go through a KYC process. KYC process will trigger your biometric scan, your government-issued ID, and in the back end, what we will do is we will attach your identity to the actual wallet. So in the future, when an event organizer, sports teams, whoever, publishes an event, they can limit how many tickets an individual person can buy. And for the first time, using our technology, you will actually be able to keep the bad players out, because bots will not be able to spin up real identities. They will not be able to buy a whole bunch of tickets all at once. This will be very limited to the true fans. And then on the secondary market, what we are doing is we are going country by country. We have identified 60 countries all over the world where secondary market, resale market, it's either banned or it's limited to the point where you cannot resell for profit. We are going to these countries and we are speaking to the government officials and we are telling them, we are here, we have the technology, we can help you. And the way we do that is bonding an identity to the actual ticket. And you can actually benefit from all this by collecting tax from the secondary market and providing a safe and regulated secondary market. One of our latest deals that we have closed is with a ticketing company. So just so everyone understands, we don't compete with ticketing companies. What we do is we provide an infrastructure to ticketing companies, and we help them improve their ticketing stack. Ticketing industry will not change as it was. People will be still buying and reselling tickets, going to the events. What we are doing is just providing a much better ticketing infrastructure to do that. One of our recent deals is in Turkey, where we are bringing 26 million tickets on chain. This is for the entire Turkish Football Federation, where we'll be regulating the secondary market and expanding into the primary market. And some other countries around the world where we are going are in Mexico, Brazil, here in Latin America mostly. I'll stop there.
No, yeah, that's super impressive. I think everyone can agree that the user interface that we see and know today has a lot of problems. So we talked about the UX and the UI, what we see as individuals, but I think both of you guys brought up the secondary sales, the bots and stuff like that, and you work with Cubist. I mean, you founded Cubist to prevent exactly that, and I think we have a lot of developers within the Avalanche community, so I wanted to get your take, since we're in Avalanche Summit in Latin America, how do you use that technology? Because bringing it on-chain will not solve all the problems, but how can you take that next step forward and move the industry forward as a whole?
This is a great question. So I love this phrase that I think all of us need to keep in the back of our heads, which is this is not a product, it's a technology. The blockchain is not a product either. It's a technology. It's an enabler for something else. And I think a lot of us are excited about the technology and sell it as such. And I think it's good for us to step back and think about what that next 100 million people will want and how they can be sold. And for them, it's things like you're not going to get scalped, or you're going to be able to sell a ticket on a newly enabled secondary market that's now legal because there's a way for it to become legal, right? And I think all of that has to be coupled with the underlying sort of infra that makes this not just a drain, not just a drag. This one, we have an NFT ticket. The lines are going to be long. There's going to be some problem if my phone goes down, right? So we're adding technology at the same time. Unfortunately, in a lot of cases, one adds failure mode. So thinking about those ahead of time. So questions like, okay, now that I'm going to have, let's say, for example, at a sporting event, I'm going to have 80,000 people trying to get in the door in 2 hours. How am I going to get 80,000 people through in 2 hours when, if half of them, say, next year are going to have NFT-based tickets, are they going to have to generate a signature in order to get in the door? How many of them are going to lose cell phone reception as a result of that? Are they going to be able to do it on their phone? Are we going to have backups? What does all that look like? And so I think thinking through stuff like, how is our infrastructure prepared for the kind of massive demand that you'll see at the points where these tickets are potentially going to be used? And so I think one of the things, generally speaking, when people think about blockchain technology, historically they've said, a block every 10 minutes, in the old days of Bitcoin, or whatever it is, right? People think about it in terms of limited block space, in terms of sort of a rivalrous relationship with the chain and with the other people participating on the chain. And so I think one of the awesome things about working in the Avalanche ecosystem is these purpose-built L1s. We have subnets. We have ways to sort of bring on, sort of on demand, the sort of available block space necessary to, whatever it might be at the point of ticketing. And corresponding to that, now you have to also have that capacity for the end user, for their wallets, for, whatever it is that they're interacting with on their phone, right? If they go to, log in to get through the gate and, they get a 404 or 500, well, life is bad, and probably next time they're going to be like, oh, I actually do like Ticketmaster. No, I hope not. I hope not. I think it would take a lot of abuse for them to actually like Ticketmaster. So I think all of these kinds of opportunities we need to balance with, okay, so all this technology that we're adding, we have to make sure that it's actually meeting these sort of real world standards for capacity, for user interaction, for the experience that my dad would like, right? He's not going to want to play with buttons on his phone. He's going to want to just go into the concert, right? So I think bringing it back to answer your question more directly, I think these are the kinds of things that we're thinking really hard about, enabling the sort of making it easy to build experiences that are reliable, that are easy for end users, that are familiar flows, Web 2-like flows. That's sort of this golden phrase that people use. Oh, the Web 2-like flows. Maybe it's also a bad phrase. We're trying to supplant that in some sense. But bringing these kinds of workflows to users in a way that is reliable and that enables not just a new experience or a different experience, but an actually better experience. I think this is the kind of places where a lot of the work is, and we're happy to be working there.
That's amazing.
I just want to actually echo on something that he said. When it comes to crowd access control, the way we are seeing the future by bonding an identity to an actual ticket, and the adoption that we are seeing in terms of the stadiums, arenas around the world, biometrics are being implemented as the crowd access control system around all the venues. So something to confirm that we are doing, bonding an identity to an actual ticket. You want, on the game day, you won't actually even need to pull out your ticket or your phone or have access to the internet. You can just walk up to the ticket scanner, your face will be scanned, and if there's a ticket on that account, you will be let in. And where we are seeing now the adoption taking place is with NFL. A company called Wicked has just literally gotten every single sports team in the United States to adopt the use of the biometric verification system. In Europe, that's already starting to take place. But interesting enough, in Latin America, that has been the norm for the last 18 months. And I'll stop there.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. So segueing to that, I think, we want to touch point on Latin America since we're here, but do you guys think it varies different region by region? Because you brought up Europe, we're in Latin America, these countries might be more appealing to blockchain technologies, and regulations play a big part in that. So for Sports Illustrated, how is that conversation brought up? Because you guys are a global brand, but you're trying to appeal to like different regions and different use cases. So how do you pick and choose those battles?
The front end experience to the consumer has got to be Web 2. The underlying capability of being on chain and all of the technical advances around the world, whether Asia or Latin America or North America or Europe, a guest in 14 to 16 seconds needs to walk through a gate. It doesn't matter what is below that 14 to 16 to the guest. An inebriated guest that's been partying for 2 hours before they walked into a concert has 7 seconds to get in before they start to get unruly. So whatever we do as platforms and all of the capabilities and everything that we bring to market, what is paramount at the end of the day for the venue and the rights holder who is using these platforms to make sure that that 14 to 16 seconds is seamless and everybody is moving at a quick pace to be able to get into that gate. Underneath it, whether it is bios, or whether it's experiences, whether it's upgrades, whether it's creating profiles to know who's in my venue, how can I help them have a better experience, what's the offer I can give to them, how do I create loyalty with that person. An on-chain platform is far superior than anything that is out there legacy-wise and everywhere around the world. And I think what we're really talking about in this is the adoption, not country by country, not region by region. It is literally event by event and venue by venue. And so the more examples that we can showcase everywhere around the world where the entire event or the entire venue and all the events at the venue are leveraging an on-chain ecosystem, and we can showcase all of these advantages, that is ultimately how mass adoption begins to take place in everything that we're talking about. The average fan is never going to have a wallet. They don't even know what it means. They think it's their Apple Wallet that they put their ticket into to scan in and get in the door. So everything that no matter what we all do as we come out of this room today and what we do over the next several years, as we begin to showcase examples, and we are going to showcase examples. I mean, I just want to guide you on what Emil was saying and what we have planned in the next 90 days to 6 months, you are going to see global examples of adoption of on-chain experiences in venues that are the highest profile in the world. That is going to be the catalyst for what we all do together to advance this capability, and what, for Avalanche as well as best in class to showcase all of the things that a user can do with a venue being in an on-chain environment. And so it still comes back to your question, geography doesn't matter, venue by venue, event by event. But no matter what we all do, if you don't know how to buy that ticket, pay for it, put it into your wallet, and walk in the door, every one of these use cases, nothing is ever going to materialize. It has to look and feel like every other experience you've ever done. That is the most critically important message I can deliver to the community.
Yeah, I think that's a great message. How's the receptive been on your end? Do you think, what are some untapped potentials that you think these countries might not realize? Because you've had direct conversations with them.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way. We have sold 100,000 tickets on chain and generated over $1 million for our business partners during our pilot stages. We haven't had a single issue reported back to us. One of the most expensive tickets that we have sold on chain was for $11,000 using USDC and mentioning USDC and Circle Company. So we have implemented Circle's wallet, and the way that we see future is blockchain does solve the security and scalability problem. But when you get 60,000 to 100,000 people coming through the door trying to buy a ticket that very same second, the current infrastructure, even now as it is, will not support that. I am seeing the future where we'll be seeing the use of a digital dollar in order for us to achieve that benchmark of hundreds of thousands of transactions in that very second, because right now we are limited to 200 to 400 transactions a second. On the user experience side, we have run a program where we brought in non-Web3 users to test our platform, and it took a person 1 minute and 15 seconds to register, buy the ticket using a credit card, and check out. In terms of getting people through the door, David is now actually making me feel really good because we have achieved a milestone of getting people through the door in a second, and that's the industry standard when it comes to scanning a ticket and getting through the door. The reception, based on our track record and what we have done, we are able to sit in the room with these players and present our technology, present the opportunity, and secure contracts.
Nice, I love that answer. I kind of want to play like devil's advocate for a second because I think this question can appeal to all of you guys. So I'm a big collector, as many of us might be. So we like holding the physical ticket compared to digital. But as the world becomes more online and we're using like our phones 24/7, like for example, my dad, he was so receptive against using his phone, and then when he got one, he was like, he's been on it just 24/7. So when you're appealing to like these, I guess, older audiences, how can you convince them that they don't need like a physical ticket, or to like a collector, for example? Why do you think digital is the way to go? That goes beyond just like accessibility, because we all like getting to places, but we also like having a memory, So what's your take on that?
I'm going to pass it to these folks because they understand users way better than I do.
All right, David, let's hear your opinion.
So the ticket is the most useless part of any event. And think about what I just said and what we do. You will never go back to the ticket after you have the best night watching your favorite band or a championship game. No one goes back to the barcode. It's literally in our trash bin. It's the most important piece to have, something that you will tell for the rest of your life. You will tell the story when you saw that game-winning shot for your team for the rest of your life. You will never tell that story from your basement couch. So if the being at the event is this moment for all of us, and everybody here has been to a you know what was the best shows you've been to. You can rattle it off. You remember that. It was like that was it. Yet we started that with this barcode, and that barcode created anxiety, We had to find it in our emails. We had to hope it scanned in. We had to hope it was valid. We had to hope. And then once it is, we're like this relief, like the gate opened up, the green light came on, we walked in the door, and then it's gone. Yet it started it all. So how can you make that more important? How can you make something that was so critical to this moment more important to all of us as fans? An NFT. Videos, pictures, loyalty, rewards, commemorative. You want to create a digital experience that manifests into a physical one? There are plenty of companies out there that will print a commemorative. But an NFT, by its very nature, sits in your wallet and allows you to go back to this moment. The barcode is there, and here is the commemorative ticket that you can transfer out to your wallet, keep with you for the rest of your life, a version of that that has videos or pictures or highlights or something special that the venue or the artist or the team made available to you, right into your wallet. That's what we're talking about here. It is about the experience of something that is useless and gone, now all of a sudden becomes important. And so everything that we were just talking about here, for the fan, the venue and the event, and that is what they're driving towards. How can I create, what tools do I have? How can I do something better? You just paid me $200 to walk into this event. We need to appreciate you. What can we do? How can we make this better? How about on an ecosystem that's on chain, we deliver a thank you message from one of the players that says, as soon as 30 seconds after you scan in, thank you for coming to the game. It's fans like you. You matter. Thank you for being here. That would change everything for you. And where was that? It was right in the ticket. That's the value of what we're talking about. That is what is transformational in what we are about to do.
Emil, you have the same thoughts?
I do, actually. I do have the same thoughts, but also we ran into a situation with one of the event organizers where we were trying to make all the tickets look really nice and fancy. And after the second event, they came back and said, listen, we don't have the people nor the manpower to keep coming and creating these tickets each and every single time. But let's talk about tickets also. So creating tickets that are video size or GIF size also increases the size of a block, and the storage becomes really expensive. So something that we need to keep in mind. Not every single ticket has to be fancy. Not every single ticket has to look tremendously amazing, because at the end of the event, depending on what the event was, you will even forget that that ticket is in your wallet. So we have to think about the ongoing expense for the ticket platform operator, what is going to cost them to keep operating that platform, and what is going to cost them to keep storing those files. So it's very important that we understand that there's got to be mechanisms where we can not just send the files into a burnable EVM address, but to actually burn them on chain. Event organizers, clubs, sports teams, everyone in general, they like the idea of having collectible tickets, but only for specific events. Other than that, it just becomes a lot of work for them, if that makes sense.
No, that's a good point. That's a good counterpoint to what I think is a collector. And from like a security standpoint, do you think it is a better option compared to like David was saying, just scourging through the tickets, looking for it through your email? What kind of technology considerations do you see on the back end?
Well, I love this idea of tying a ticket to a real identity. And actually, I'm going to sort of demonstrate my oldness here. I went to French Open, Roland Garros, 13 years ago, and they actually made you, like, they had very strong anti-scalping, and so I had to like give a photograph of my driver's license when I bought the tickets. I had to then bring my driver's license with me, and thank God I remembered it because I was going to France and I wasn't going to drive there. And so then I showed up. I showed them my driver's license. I showed them the 5 pieces of paper. They checked my temperature and then say, okay, fine, go in. And it was this kind of terrible experience. But I felt like, okay, good. I got the tickets at a reasonable price, and that was a nice thing. So I love this idea that we're actually making that kind of experience better, right? We're making this sort of thing. And by the way, like I don't still have that piece of paper, right? But the thing that we do have is an improvement in this idea of no scalping, right? Because I know that there were people scalping tickets. Like I saw them like a block away from the venue trying to sell tickets, and also selling a little card that went with the ticket that was like, okay, this is going to be your ID, right? So like people were literally buying fake IDs to get into like with a fake ticket or a real ticket to an event, right? So like this is the kind of thing that. This is the kind of thing that we're hoping to get rid of, right? This is like kind of a dangerous thing. Like this is a sort of a criminal enterprise now. It's not just like selling the tickets anymore. It's selling kind of more important stuff or worse stuff. So I think from that perspective, look, this is already a fantastic improvement. I think on top of that, this idea of you're going to have like a persistent identity that is tied to whatever it might be, an email address, a login of some sort. People have different choices, but this is something that people are actually already used to, right? Like I have an account with Ticketmaster. I'm sorry, we all do, I suppose. And when I buy a ticket, it goes to the email address, right? So I have that long-term identity already. But of course, Ticketmaster, I don't know, probably they've gotten hacked a bunch of times and they've lost a bunch of my personal data, and it's fine. Like okay, fine. Everyone knows I went to a Taylor Swift concert. That's fine. But like eventually, that could be an interesting source of information that like somebody wants to steal, right? Whether it's just for credential stuffing or whatever it is. So getting rid of that, cutting out the middleman, and like having it be this sort of identity that is me, that lives on chain, like that to me is a major improvement, right? We're just taking data middlemen out. And that's to me like kind of the second big improvement. And then I'd say the third big improvement here is really the sort of like whatever it might be, the biometric or just sort of scanning a phone or whatever it is. This idea that the person who is standing there like checking my ticket, that they have like they know that like the people coming through the door are whatever it is. If it's some kind of high profile event, there can be, I mean, in some cases, like an airline flight is a good example of this. There's security ahead of time. For some sort of high-profile ticketed events, that could also be something that you need, right? So being able to sort of add these things on ad hoc, to me, is like a very interesting sort of follow-on technology that I think we will potentially start to see as we, as these ticketing systems become more widespread. So I'd say from the security perspective, those are the sorts of things that I think about: disintermediation, actual identity, and sort of these add-ons that you get when you actually have sort of strong identity kind of built in.
Got you. Yeah. So we talked about all the features that it has, but so I still use Ticketmaster. I don't know if a lot of other people here do in the audience. Maybe you guys do as well. So what do you think is preventing? What's preventing like mass adoption? Like, why are people still using Ticketmaster, and what can take these on-chain technologies to go over the hurdle to make everyone just on-chain? Like, is it a lack of education? Is it a UI problem? What do you guys think?
I'll take that question if you don't mind, David. Well, first and foremost is convincing them that this is a better technology, and proving it on a smaller scale, and getting them to feel comfortable that this is the way forward. And then the second part is regulations. In some of the countries, we still lack clear understanding how NFT as a product should be classified. Should it be classified as a security, or should it be classified as a utility? There hasn't been that clear picture yet. So for those reasons, some of the companies that we are speaking to, they feel sort of scared if they're going to run into legal issues. So what we are doing is, like I mentioned, we go country by country, where we explain what is it that we are doing. We demonstrate it on the smaller scale, and then from there on, we start releasing it in phases until we reach the full capacity of the entire inventory usage.
David, anything to add?
Ticketmaster today could go on-chain. There's no decision that is looming that would prevent them from doing so. Mass adoption in the global live event ecosystem exists because it has been standardized. I can buy a ticket from one marketplace, I can possess that ticket, I can transfer and sell it on another marketplace, and I can move between transferability from user to user unobstructed. Globally, right? Globally. And That is how the live event global ecosystem today exists. When you introduce an on-chain venue with an NFT ticket, the transferability into another marketplace for either a user transfer that has an account on, via GoGo, and I bought it on SeatGeek, or the ability to sell that ticket. Remember, the monetization of tickets is hated and required. You may not like the fact that somebody has bought that ticket for that sold-out show and now you're paying a price, but nobody pays more than what they're willing to do so. A buyer and a seller existing in a ticket marketplace are trying to complete a transaction. The venue and the artist is not elevating prices at 9. If there's no demand, prices come down, right? Just to level set. These are open marketplaces. But the ability for me in a venue that is all on chain to be able to offer that out to 25,000 fans and then have them go out and transfer it to somebody that is in a different ticket marketplace or sell it on a different market. It's the reason why Ticketmaster today is the gatekeeper for all of it. They can create materiality in the marketplace where tickets can move between ecosystems and standardize what an on-chain live event marketplace can do and cross-pollinate across all these other global marketplaces. So there's no barrier here. The catalyst is what we are all waiting for. Where is the first global venue to do it? Where is the first audience set and massive festival and global high-profile example where every single ticket and every single guest is on-chain? Where is that, right? That today has not yet happened, but it's coming.
We did it last year in Albania, a festival called Unum. Every single ticket in audience was a NFT ticket sold on tixbase's platform, 15,000 people. And then this year we are actually, to echo to what David was saying, we are implementing the rest of the operation throughout the festival, like cashless system, the purchase of merchandise, food, beverage, upgrade to the elevated experiences. We are also bringing all that to chain.
I mean, look, not for nothing, but we didn't buy NFT tickets to get in here. And like, we're all the ones who would.
Yeah, we need
would
to
do
talk,
it,
we need to
right?
talk about that.
And by the way,
we
like,
really
if you
need
went,
to talk about that.
If you,
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, right. And the other one, I don't know how many of you went to East Denver and like went through the rigmarole to get in there. Like, that's actually a horrible experience. Like, I don't think I'm the only one who thinks that. At least I hope not. Like, it sucks. So like that needs to get better before. Like, we're not adopting it because the experiences we've had with it are crap. So like, these are the guys who are going to make that better, and we're underneath making it better too.
Thank you for bringing that up. I don't want to be the one to do it.
No, I think that's awesome. That's so funny to hear. My mom bought a ticket on Ticketmaster, and then she was like, "Why can't I transfer to SeatGeek?" And I think that's like an old mentality, and I think just like going back to like education. So it's gonna take time for these people to adopt it. So like forward looking, where do you guys see the industry in 5 years? And that may be like a long time in crypto, but 5 years might be short for traditional. So what do you think it goes in 5 years?
I mean, I do see the adoption coming, simply because of the recent events that have happened in ticketing industry, especially around high-profile events. There is a strong demand for improved security. There is a strong demand for a regulated secondary market, and there is a strong demand to actually eliminate all the bad actors from an experience that belongs to the fans. So we are seeing actually at first, we were doing a lot of outbound. Now we are receiving a lot of inbound calls where we are speaking to the event organizers and ticketing businesses that want to solve these problems. So I do see the adoption coming pretty soon.
David, do you agree?
I think, again, we have to manage our expectations here. We're going to find success, and there's going to be examples, and we're going to point out whether it's a festival in Albania or a Premier League team or an NFL team. We are going to find those partners that believe. You're going to see that soon. But the interoperability has to always be a Web 2 front end so that no matter what the venue is doing or not doing, an on-chain can coexist with an off-chain. And so that's how you mass scale. And you start to create these high-profile examples, these great fan experiences, these great use cases. And then as a community, I think what we need to all do together is we need to highlight all of these so it's not lost, right? In the shuffle and the noise of a very noisy, crowded Web3 environment, we need to make sure together that, and look, you know, we're Sports Illustrated. I understand. We have a voice. We're here right now telling you, we believe, right? We're going to lean in this way and help. But we need everybody, as these great use cases and great examples start to succeed, we've got to elevate this up so that the whole world and this marketplace specifically sees and recognizes this is a great example. I'm going to do this at my venue. I'm going to do this at my event.
Nice. I feel very motivated and inspired by David's parting words. We are out of time, so I want to thank each and every one of you for attending, and just give a round of applause for our three guests. Thank you.